the Wilo Company in Dortmund, Germany. Roughly 2,000 employees produce pumps and pump systems here for use in buildings, water management, and industry. When designing devices, engineers think about their end use from the very beginning of the design process. To this end, they share their ideas with each other in an in-house innovation lab. To implement eco-design, a lot of departments must work together, like the development, production, and sustainability teams. Right from the initial idea for a new product, engineers are concerned about the durability and reparability of the product.
And that means using sustainable materials and processes and deliberating over them in the design process right from the start.
When implementing eco-design in production processes, it's important to constantly be thinking about sustainability in terms of both cost and quality when increasing the number of units made. The efficient use of resources and the use of ecologically sound raw materials are part of the planning process in these product groups from the first moment. The challenge in product development for eco-design is that you have to look a long way into the future. We have long-lasting products. They will be on the market for 20 years. And for the time when the end-of-life phase begins, we have to start thinking today about closing the loops in the future. Eco-design is a complex task, but at the Wilo plant in Dortmund, it has already become reality. The company relies on people like Hans-Joachim Liebig. He works for a building services company in the Sauerland region southeast of Dortmund. Liebig is responsible for the maintenance of heating systems. We're on our way to a family in a nearby town. We have to replace a pump. For the heating system, for the heating circuits. It's broken. We replace around 200 pumps a year, and that adds up to quite a lot. Liebig will be keeping an eye out for recyclable material. He finds what he is looking for in a detached house. A 30-year-old defective heating pump is waiting for him in the cellar. The pump will be replaced with a new one, and this new pump will eventually also become part of a recycling program just like the old one. Yeah, there are rare earths inside, just like in cell phones. They are retrieved through the recycling program. If we no longer have the materials or can no longer produce them, then we can no longer install pumps. Then the material will no longer be available. So this is about taking care of your future. That's how it looks. This makes sure we can continue to install things in the future. The electric motor of the new pump contains so-called permanent magnets, which contain the rare earth element neodymium. Neodymium amplifies the force of the magnets, and this ultimately increases the efficiency of the electric motor. If the new pump is also defective at some point, it ends up in a pallet cage as part of the recycling program, just like the old pumps. This is how the vital rare earth element neodymium can be recovered for the magnets of the future. Roughly 500 specialized companies participate in this recycling system. Wilo has set up the recycling system especially for heating installation companies. It's a win-win situation for the companies. They can dispose of their old pumps in accordance with the law. And it's convenient as well. We told our customers to pack all pumps, regardless of age, condition, type, and manufacturer, into one box. When the box is full, they send us an email and we collect it directly from the customer. At the moment, that's about 100 tons per year. In addition to these pumps from these specialized companies, returns from the warranty are also sent to the recycling center. The company gives a 5-year guarantee on its devices. After an inspection of these warranty cases, components that are as good as new, such as the pump housing, are then sent directly to the production line or the repair service. The recycling center also processes used appliances from specialist companies. To do this, technicians dismantle them into their individual parts. This is no problem due to the recycling-friendly design. The parts are then sorted. There are 5 different material containers for electronic components alone. Most of the material is sent to outside partners who use the recyclable material in production of industrial goods. The pure scrap value of the pumps is not very high. However, dismantling and separating the various elements can add considerable value. We sort these parts into 36 groups, which we call fractions. These 36 fractions generate over 250,000 euro in revenue for us every year. We get between 50 cents and 5 euro per kilogram, depending on the material. The motivation to do this is primarily economic, of course, but there are also ecological principles in regard to materials. We want to close the loop so that we can still be building pumps tomorrow. This means that the recycling-friendly product design of the pumps pays off for the company. The pumps still under warranty are dismantled. Individual parts are returned to the production line after being inspected. Or the parts are sent to the company's repair service. The rest end up in one of the containers that are recycled by outside recycling partners. The technicians at Welo also dismantle the pumps that come back from the heating installation companies into their individual components. In these cases, though, almost all the parts are divided up among the containers. One important component does, however, remain within the company. What is known as the rotor. The rotor contains the rotor pack, and this in turn houses the valuable permanent magnets. The interesting thing here is that we have designed the pumps so that the permanent magnets required for this motor can be removed from the pumps without anything being destroyed. Eco-design means thinking ahead in the development phase so that components can be recovered from products in the so-called end-of-life phase, ideally without ruining them, and if possible, keep them in circulation. The design of the rotor packs allows the permanent magnets to be easily removed. These permanent magnets contain the rare earth element neodymium, which is not available in unlimited quantities on the world markets. The neodymium magnets that have been recovered undergo a quality test before they are reused. If the quality is sufficient, they can go right back into production. If the quality is insufficient, though, the magnets are sent to an outside partner. This company processes the magnets in a high-tech procedure. The powder that is a result of this process contains the neodymium. And the powder then ends up back at Welo in Dortmund. In the next step, we can use this magnetic powder to produce new magnets for our own magnetic field. We are dependent on China for neodymium. 90% of it comes from China, so we have to ensure that we close the loop for rare earths in Europe, since we don't have unlimited access to many resources. Implementing eco-design and engineering helps secure the supply in Dortmund. In a separate plant, the powder containing neodymium is processed back into a high-quality material at high pressures at 800 degrees Celsius. This material is then used in production just like the material that comes directly from the in-house recycling center. Both materials containing neodymium are demagnetized during processing. They are then reinserted into the rotor pack. This process pays off in the long run for Wilo. If the quality is sufficient, they can go right back into production. Material we will save a lot of money. Each individual rotor is given a batch number. This makes it possible to determine later whether the rotor contains recycled material. Then the material is magnetized again. The entire production process is controlled by a manufacturing execution system. There were problems at first. SAP had to get the material into the system by creating new posting records. For the computer, it's like the material just falls from the sky. Neodymium magnets aren't the only thing falling from the sky in Dortmund. The pump housings for production of new pumps are also created at low cost. Ultimately, the Dortmund pump manufacturer produces high-quality products that conserve resources. We needed to internalize sustainability in all teams from the very beginning. Otherwise, we wouldn't have a product that is sustainable and recyclable. Thinking about the end from the very beginning. Eco-design as it is practiced in Dortmund, Germany.